non-technical, and then I added slides on the tools we need to build that hopefully inspires you. Okay, so obviously Graphene OS is what's so special about it. It's like a toy box where the apps don't steal information and communicate with each other, and neither does the phone company knows what's happening. Whereas in all other phones, your applications are spying on each other. So what's really awesome about it, I just named 10. There's more things, but it has a super strong app lockup. Obviously, there's no Google snooping, but you can, if you're not a Graphene user, you can actually create a sandbox profile, which I love. And if you have spyware apps, you can dump it there. That was my biggest fear before switching, because I was like, okay, well, what happens to your bank app or Uber account or something? So you can keep it in a sandbox profile. There's network control, sensor control, auto reboot for safety. When you type in your PIN number, it actually scrambles it up, so if someone's like snooping, they can't see it. There's a cool web browser in it, and obviously there's a Wi-Fi privacy. So I'm a big Umbrel fan. Do you guys use Umbrel or Start9?
Use both.
Both. Okay, so what is Umbrel? It's basically a server is just someone else's cloud. So you want to store your data on your own server for a number of reasons. And not just your data, but also applications like your wallet. For example, you could see that there has been talks, and I haven't seen actually regulatory action in this area, but there has been talks about banning non-custodial wallets, for example. And it would be very simple to ban it with 2 phone calls to Apple and Google, and you would just lose access to it. So it's always good to have either Umbrel or a Graphene OS where you can access your applications from Android. So it makes stuff so easy. This is a very nice user interface. I am very much in love with it. Everything. The reason I'm focused on it, because I know there's talks about some people don't like their licensing because it's not free open source, but they have a license where if you're a company, you will have to pay. And there's a lot of discussions about that. But I believe that if you're like a busy nurse, or if you have a life outside tech, you still need, you deserve to have, private software. And this is just so easy. Everyone I introduce them to, you just plug it in, it works. The installation, even if you have an old server or Raspberry Pi, you can install it in like 10 minutes. And then, just like on your phone, you have an app store, but you have all these different applications. And my favorite thing is that there's a community store. So if you guys have a great idea and you want to make it happen, you can add to that. These are just some of my favorite apps. Obviously, Nextcloud. Nextcloud, you can, if you have a Graphene OS phone, then you can also connect your home server to your phone, so it saves all your videos, all your backups goes directly to your home server. This is especially good if you're traveling, since now they started, you're checking your phone. So Jellyfin, Pi-hole, and oh my God, Home Assistant. Okay, so this trend, are you guys following Home Assistant, or have you used? Okay, so they started doing this thing where they integrate actual hardware product with Home Assistant. And there's about 15 now, different hardware. So from sensors to cameras, home automation tools. They all, if you go on their website, it says works with Home Assistant. So now you can purchase something that's like commercially by default tracking you and just like uninstall the software. And this was the model that I believe we should start using more, which is the Graphene OS model, basically taking something that they spent millions of dollars to research and build, and then just changing the software. Plex, I haven't used Plex that much, but I have friends who are using it. It's basically a media server, Tailscale, and BTC-based server. Oh my God, I highly, highly recommend. This is like one of the sexiest user interfaces.
So what's a media server?
So if you want to accept Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, any cryptocurrency basically, and we integrated Monero too with it. So if you want to accept Bitcoin, you can self-host the server, but it's a fully, like you have invoicing, you have everything on it. You can host like a fundraiser. You just gotta try it, because the moment you see it, you'll fall in love with this. It works so smoothly, and yeah, and then you have Monero too. And another thing it's cool about it is you can accept every cryptocurrency, and you will use a third party, but you can flip it to the point of your preference. So for example, if I just want to take Monero, you can pay in Ethereum or whatever coin you have, but it flips it to your preferred cryptocurrency. So I really like that feature. And we also integrated a Monero node with it. So now you can actually run your Monero node. I think first year we had like, I forgot the number, was it 5,000 new nodes that appeared as a result of that integration which we did at Monerotopia. So that was a huge success. We had a Graphene OS and Umbrella workshop there, and we had so many people, we didn't have enough chairs, which is a lovely problem to have. Okay, so next, my favorite browser, LibreWolf. Are you guys using LibreWolf? Any of you? Yeah, so basically it's just a private Firefox browser, and there's an extension that I'm very much in love with called Ad Nauseam. So as you know, AI is basically a monster just gobbling up data. And what this does is it has three options. You can hide, so basically it's like a view block on the front end. It hides the ads, but on the back end, it clicks the ads on your behalf. So it like messes up your profile. And then you can also block more. And I don't know if you can see it, but it shows how much money you wasted, which makes me so happy. Every day it shows like cost 187. So like the ad revenue they wasted. So it's teaching companies to switch, marketing strategy. It does not work with Google. Google banned this like right off the bat. As it came out, boom, it was banned. So it only works with Firefox, LibreWolf, a couple of others. I don't use Brave, I don't like it, but yeah. Okay, so emails, obviously, I also like ProtonMail and whatever encrypted email you're using. My favorite is TutmaMail just because they do encrypt the subject line as well, and for me, that matters. You're still leaving metadata, then what's the point? So that's my favorite email, and the zero knowledge calendar. So it has a calendar that's also encrypted, and I like that very much. Okay, messengers. So most of my friends, all of my, I would never use them other than Signal. So Signal is like the least secure messaging app, I would say I would use. But it still requires a phone number, which bothers me. Now you have like this new username option, but they already have your phone number. So then SimpleX and Session. So these two do not require your phone number, so you just basically get an ID if any of you tried it. And then there's one that I'm rooting for. It's called Valid, and it's built by hackers from DEF CON. And it's kind of still, beta testing me. So it's like I don't recommend it like you to fully rely on it, but it's gonna be exciting.
What was the name of that one?
Valid. And I have like 2 friends on it. So.
Oh, okay.
Not many people use it.
Are you on that, Aaron?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we could be friends.
Speaking of critical mass already, that's pretty good. That's cool.
So yeah, but I'm excited about the project itself. Okay, so vulnerabilities AI have, but training is a big one. That we should absolutely exploit. I don't know if I'm sure you noticed, but AI will confidently mislead you because it just wants to give you an answer, even if it doesn't know the answer. So, for example, the facial recognition cameras, they obviously scan for facial features. If you're wearing a t-shirt that has 6 eyes, instead, rather than going, okay, he looks more like a spider because he's got 2 and then 6 on a t-shirt, instead of that, it just goes, he looks like Denzel Washington, and it just kind of gives a false positive. So that's why they had so many like discrimination cases too with facial recognition. And if you've seen some of those pictures, like it's horrendous because like one guy has a unibrow and the other guy doesn't even look like that, and AI says it's the same. So we should absolutely exploit this vulnerability. I'm a huge believer now with data poisoning. I think the time when we could just go dark, those times are gone. There's cameras everywhere with Starlink also making it possible to virtually have surveillance anywhere. Like even if you're hiking in the mountains, Starlink now will be able to spy on you from up above. So I think there's not going to be much darkness because you can be the most private person, and as soon as you leave your house, there's cameras everywhere. So I think what we should do instead is poison their databases, because right now the reason they can rely on their predictions is because it's pure, it's clean, everything they collect. But the more information we put out that's false, the less reliable their database is, and also they won't be able to use it in court. So we need to actually fight fire with fire at this point, I think. So model inversion, obviously attackers can reverse engineer the model. There's overly reliance on limited features, so I talked about this. So I created a license plate, and I can share it's a bumper sticker, and I can share the model with you so you can. It's a holographic bumper sticker that looks like a license plate. It says Free State, Colorado. So what it does, it basically confuses the license plate reader, because now there's 2 license plates, so it generates a false positive. Even if you just have 100 of those in Pueblo, it creates thousands and thousands of wrong data if you're like driving around town. So I created those for the Liberty on the Rocks folks, and I'm gonna give it out. And the holographic background is to actually at night, the light flashes on it, so it just reflects back. So you need something reflective for the night. FRT exploits, obviously clothing, makeup can confuse it. 3D printed mask, but that's just kind of weird to walk around with. Infrared and laser. So far this is what we can do. The stickers are a very good one, and reflecting or eye blocking covers. So here's the tools we need to build, because we don't have these, okay? So we need a broader hardware support to the chipsets. This is, I'm sure he could talk about it more, but to run Graphene OS or Calyx OS or any other non-pixel devices, we need an ad ecosystem. So we need not just Android, we need more. Maps, oh my God, we need a map. I've never seen an open source map that I actually like, other than Google. So we need a map that's more connected and has a very user-friendly interface, so that it picks up and people actually start using it. An example would be like, we would have like a hardware, Pinefull's hardware openness with like Graphene OS security, supporting 5G and running like a curated Android store with organic apps, open source navigation, and whatever secure email of your preference. Okay, so Internet of Things, this is why I'm very excited about home assistants because it's the first time, like it's actually the first time I see hardware coming into the picture because we are so Gucci when it comes to like the open source software. We have so many options, but we don't have hardware. We can't rely, even with Pixel, we just like Graphene OS, we have Pixel, and we are at the mercy of Google's decisions. So we need more open hardware that we can trust. So the fact that these companies, the big commercial companies, they started to work with Home Assistant makes me super excited because we need capital to flow into the privacy space. Right now it's like the early days of the Wild West, there's just nobody. So we need more tools. DIY IoT kits would be nice. So if it's a Raspberry Pi base, you could build custom IoT devices. Local AI for IoT, we can use, so Llama and Mistral is what Venice AI is using. If you haven't tried it, please do. It has a super nice interface and it's the only AI that is censorship resistant, is non-censored. So you can literally go to Grok and ask, what are the questions you would not answer because of it's illegal or something. It gives you all the questions. You can take that to Venice and will answer it. And it's really fun. You're gonna feel awkward because most of those questions, like most of those answers are illegal to know, but it will answer everything and it only stores data on your browser, so it's completely private. We need more of those, so that are running on a Raspberry Pi for local voice and for image processing. And so we can reduce like dependency on Alexa, which is unfortunately super popular. Okay, this is another one of my favorite protocols, the Monero protocol. So we need to push for a broader adoption for the Monero protocol to ensure so people with like Teslas use it, they use it in your garage. Home assistance is basically just home automation. So my vision for the future is that we don't get ourselves locked out and live like an Amish, but instead we purchase these products and be able to switch to the operating system of our preference. So Matter protocol is very useful in that. Okay, privacy-focused smart sensors. So there's some already, I think, that works with Home Assistant, but we need more. So like Zigbee and Thread support that are avoiding like Wi-Fi cloud hunger and just cloud reliance in general. We don't want any other people's clouds. We want our own umbrella start line for the non-technical, and if you can just set up your own, then lucky you. So open source telematics. So we need to divide this, develop privacy first, open firmware to monitor like vehicle diagnostics. This is a big one. So I'm also pushing on this on the legislative side. So far we have one. So basically, all your cars are spying on you, and we need to change that. We don't have it at the moment. There's not a single car that is not spying on stuff. So they had, and it's one of those things that we need to approach it from the technical perspective, as in what can we do now? What you can do is you can basically inactivate like your yeah, well, no, because I had guys who like unplugged, like the location tracker, but then you're gonna have issues. So it's too complicated. But OnStar, you're right. So OnStar actually reports everything, and then your insurance company just changes your rate, and you don't know what happened. Also, your phone connects to it, so then it's reporting. Oh, while you're driving, you're also texting. Okay, so now your insurance company knows that. So they constantly monitor it. In fact, I had a fender bender a couple years ago, and I use Monero of like 80% of the time. And I also, so my bank account basically sees a cash withdrawal or a cash deposit that's like, there's not many transactions there. Just because I don't want them to like track what I'm doing. And also for the phone, I had Graphene, so again, it was no location data, soon as I called them and I filed a claim, the first things they checked, bank account and my phone records. And it was like, I was just laughing because I was like, someone is just like probably scratching their head like, what is this woman doing? Because there was nothing there. But yeah, we need more of those. So home assistant for energy management. I mean, we need every tool that's out there so we can have this almost the same level of convenience, but with the privacy respecting tools. We need car OS, which is difficult. I think I reached out to like the Graphics team and they said it's so complicated, Jill, because like there's below that layer, there's just so much data collected that I don't know if that will happen in my lifetime, but I'm hopeful. We need to create EV charging solutions, so smart chargers also integrated with Home Assistant. This would be actually really cool, because you could mine Bitcoin, charge your, you know, like I had a friend who was into like RV building and stuff, and he hooked up his Bitcoin miner with his shower. So every time he would like his boiler, so every time he would shower, he would mine Bitcoin. So it's a very cool way to reuse your energy. So an example would be like a privacy car home, in my vision, where you can use a Raspberry Pi running an automotive grade Linux or like paired with an OBD dongle and running a custom firmware, whatever custom firmware. I don't think Graphics even has the manpower to do this. It's like it would have to be like a completely new project. For like offline navigation, local diagnostics, things like that. So privacy first cameras, open source security cameras with local processing. In Germany, the Ring cameras are banned, for example. Here, and I'm seeing this all, and just, oh, my blood boils when I see it. You go on next door neighbor, and it's like the creeps out of the woodwork. They post, oh, I just saw these kids pick these flowers. I'm like, oh my God, like just get a life. But everybody's watching everybody, and I think we urgently need to have a discussion about what about my individual privacy? Like what if I don't want, that they sell ankle bracelets marketed as jewelry these days. Or like, oh, there's this cool necklace that records everything you say. What about my right if I don't want to be recorded by you and you're wearing that necklace? So that's why I'm saying that the going dark strategy is kind of phasing out because you can be very private and someone next to you has all these recording devices. So that would be a good one. Privacy first cameras, smart locks with open source firmware so that no data leaves from your network. Energy monitoring, so open source energy monitors for real-time tracking. Voice assistants, oh my God, we need that. Local voice assistants to enhance the home assistant one. Also, VoIP would be nice for communication, decentralized VoIP. If you know any, please let me know because I've been like waiting for years to see one. End-to-end encrypted that would like integrate with Matrix or yeah, you can use it with Home Assistant. So that would be good. And affordable open source 5G routers. That would be amazing as well. So if any of you are nerding out in those areas, then have a go crack at it. Wearables, so wearables, fitness trackers. Now this, actually, we're not doing too bad on open source alternatives for like health apps or like fitness apps. It's not too bad, but they still lack user friendliness to a certain degree or health monitoring, so heart rate, sleep. Okay, and smart and private TVs, fully open source. I don't watch TV since 2008, but for those who do, it would be nice to have open source alternatives. So these are my, I guess, dream tools for now. Any questions or any suggestions or ideas that you have?
Well, so I think I have a question. Is everyone familiar with like Matrix?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this table is pretty familiar with Matrix. What about this table? Do you guys? Oh, that's awesome. Okay, in Matrix over here, do we? Okay, cool. I didn't know it was like that widely used.
Stop hitting her.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Getting to be more ubiquitous.
Okay, cool. So, was there any other tools that were mentioned in the presentation that anyone had questions on or wasn't sure about, like what the tools? Because we covered a lot of ground. That was a lot of ground really quickly. So, does anyone was like, what was that project, or you know?
I don't think I've heard of the Monero protocol. So.
Okay, yeah, me too. Yeah.
Catch me up.
Oh my God, you've got to try Monero. So yeah, basically you can connect it with your garage, you know, your thermostats. Like it's just so many things are being built on. So I'm very excited about that. The whole entire home assistant started like it was just people were switching. Because as you know, like all these tools, the IoT tools, they start advertising you, then there's subscription. So like a lot of these nerdy guys who just got annoyed with that, they were like, well, let's switch. So it just grew and grew, and it's like more and more engineers. I'm really excited about it. And then now with this hardware, it's like, well, we're off to the races because now we can actually like collaborate with companies who are building the hardware to make it work with Home Assistant. And Home Assistant is on Umbrella with one click. So you can, even if you don't understand anything tech, if you just install Umbrella, you're going to be able to use all this. So this is why I'm so excited, because I'm like, the government, the regulator, nobody will be able to stop it because it just has it on your server. So yeah, everything is like, you can have on Umbrella. That's why I'm so excited about this project. On Umbrella, you can have your home automation, you can have your BTC pay server with your invoicing, tracking for your taxes, blah, blah, blah. You can have, your Bitcoin node, your Monero node, your actual non-custodial wallet if you want. So like you can have Nextcloud or your files from your phone, your videos, your selfies, everything on your home server. So then they can just cut us out of this Google and whatever app stores because they don't like it. There's nothing they can do because everything is encrypted on your server. So that's the greatest thing, I think, this Home Assistant, because before we had this issue. I mean, it was just Graphene OS doing, the phone, and we had this issue where like you cannot switch operating system. From a device that you purchased at stores. So now, and it's mostly Europe. Actually, I checked every website, all the projects, and most of the companies are like, of course, Germany, because when the government kills half the population, then we tend to become more paranoid. they don't forget. So Germany keeps their privacy. Like I said, their Ring cameras are banned. You can't. If it's facing your home, it's fine. But you can't like just monitor the street non-stop like here. I mean, it's outrageous to me that there's literally no privacy as soon as you walked out. And we are actually second after China. You would think that we're like no, we're second on how many cameras per capita we have. So what are your dream projects?
So you brought up like having open source hardware and that being a thing that's not really an existent thing and that it's kind of on your dream list. Yeah. How do you see the future moving forward into the existing hardware being open source? We see companies like Google actively making Android more adverse to open source. I mean, we see them taking away what they call sideloading, which is, they want you to use the Google Play Store, or they want you to have an account to use the Google Play Store, where formerly you didn't need an account. You see it in companies like Ring, forcing you to put your footage through their servers, and then sometimes through law enforcement. Do you see the future as being just not using those services? We've kind of discovered that you can't break those systems because it's illegal. So should it be not using those services, or is it some sort of lobbying to
I mean, first of all, privacy is a human right. I don't want to hear this version.
Well, it is though.
whatever.
They'll throw you in jail.
Yeah, well, they do, and they did that with the samurai, and it's like, it's a full-blown war, and we're at the forefront here in the US. Because it's, it's such a niche market, and it's like only a few people working on it, and they are really in danger, actually. But the reason I'm hopeful is this. Because commercial companies started integrating with Home Assistant. Now you gotta think, no company is going to make stupid business decisions, yeah? If it's not popular, like Nextcloud too, it's used by tons of universities. And it just became popular because it's really good, it works. So I think if private companies start working, then there's capital flowing in. And once capital flows in, then you can go and say, hey, I've been working on this Graphene OS thing, but now I really, really want our own phone, sir. And venture capital will be able to, will support you. Then you guys will be able to raise funds at this point, as privacy becoming pretty much a luxury for the wealthy who always had privacy. Private schools, private roads, blah, blah, blah. So at some point, it's just gonna be like everybody's monitored and surveilled 24/7, except if you can afford, or if you're technical enough to opt out. So I think that the Home Assistant model is super amazing news, because these companies, of course they believe in privacy if they integrate it, if they put engineering resources towards this, right? Like they've proven that they believe in this. So now these companies will have money, and you can approach them. You have the list on Home Assistant and say, hey, we really need to come together as a community and start building hardware that's trustworthy and that supports these open source softwares. That's my hope anyway.
That's-
Call me crazy.
The key thing is like those projects like Unroll, Casa OS, Start9, what they're all really trying to tell people is those are really great projects, and they're really easy to set up and install. They're sophisticated Docker managers, Casa OS and Unroll is a lot of people think I have a right to privacy, right? It's a fundamental right, but where we're at now is the third-party doctrine has been expanded to everything that isn't yours. So, that was with the telco companies and the banks, and now it's just everything. So if you are hosting your own data on an old laptop or a server or device in your house, the Fourth Amendment does apply. Third-party doctrine doesn't exist to you because you are the only party involved. And I think that as people start to understand that and support by not just using but contributing to those projects, like Nextcloud is very successful. I think I think the biggest thing is supporting the companies that are giving that freedom back, like Framework or other companies that are focused on repairability and upgradability, and I don't know. It's hard to make money in open source software. That's the challenge. I think that's so it's harder.
Well, cake quality.
So you have to have there has to be like most companies that are successful sell a support model around it, including Start9 with Start OS. You can, basically purchase support, because a lot of people want these things, but they don't have they're afraid, right? I mean, if you have a problem now, you can, if you're a paid client to Apple or Google Cloud or something, you can get help, but if you're self-hosting, you are the help. So I think that's where the business model probably could come from, is, especially from a consulting aspect, is like to actually contribute or support the desire is there, the need is there, and letting those companies know like the demand is there for doing that kind of work, supporting infrastructure that,
And
empowers
like
people.
broadband does it. They go out, they fill